DC here. Hi, guys and gals. It is Thursday, yes. And we had quite a bit of snow this week, and it all melted, just pretty much all melted. Right now, all that's left around where I am, right here, as you can see, are spots of ice. So that's it. Yeah, so what will I chat about today? Well, I found something kind of amusing. It's a mail that I get every Science Direct it's called, and the article here was from Ohio State University, but it was how to ruin the taste of a cookie with just 2 words. And I like the summary because it says a rose by any other name may smell as sweet, but a chocolate chip cookie labeled consumer complaint or compliant, I think it was. No, consumer complaint. Won't taste as good as the exact same product described as new and improved, as a new study suggests. Now, once again, I kind of laugh at some of these supposedly scientific articles because we all know that something that is new and improved. I mean, the best example has been over years has been soap. You know, how much soap has been new and improved. Bit of logger's itch here. Over years and years and years. I mean, it must have been really bad stuff a while back when you look at that. But it's the same. If you take two products, let's say 2 cookies, and one you say new and improve, and the other one you actually say, I think they wrote here consumer complaint, which kind of seems strange. I thought they meant consumer compliant, which would have made actually more sense because it's such a neutral and bland way of saying things. But they were saying, like if you have something that's new and improved, or for example, factory typical, or something that basically doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. If you have factory typical, or it could be accepted or follows the norms or something like that, just basically kind of means nothing, or that it's a minimal quality. That might be what it also says, or even sub-minimal quality. And if that's the case, then your brain perceives it as less good, and it is less good in your mind, but it's exactly the same. And it comes to, so much about labels, doesn't it? And we use the same type of situation, don't we, for ourselves? I mean, we label somebody, such and such person is so and so, and so on, and how it is. Gossip brings that. Fake news brings that. And I'm not even talking about, politics or stuff like that. Because actually, if we did, we'd know that there's, gossip and fake news and exaggeration on each side of the political wing. So we're not talking about that, really. But we are talking about how you can smear somebody just by letting go a rumor. That person is not new and improved. It's the same old thing packaged in a new container, or what? Yeah. Have you had the impression that happens a lot lately? I do. There's a lot of things, that come out, and finally they're pretty much the same thing. Take, for example, I don't know, like when you were a kid, you had probably, I'm thinking of television stations. They almost were all the same, weren't they? But it was the quality of the show. It wasn't so much like, CBS or ABC or NBC. You would look like what the shows were, and actually they would move from one to another. And were the shows like new and improved? Well, actually, they did become that in a way. At one point in the late '60s, it was decided that anything that was country hick related had to go, because it had to be replaced by new and improved values, new and improved mentalities. I mean, you see that today, actually, very much so. Anybody that happens to have a conservative bent, like myself, for example, well, we're certainly factory compliant or whatever. And we're not like new and improved as being a great progressive mentality. It doesn't matter if you're good or bad. You just have to not be conservative, for example. That's just an example. But it goes in the other way around, you know. If you're a conservative looking at a so-called liberal or progressive or whatever, very often you just cannot see, as soon as you put that label, there can't be anything good coming from there. And I've noticed that. We were at a meal this weekend, and people were getting things all mixed up. And some one of the discussions at one point, I won't even get into the subjects, but it was as soon as we're talking, it came about America. And there was still people with I call it the Trump derangement syndrome. They were bringing everything that was going wrong over there. And when you got into the discussions, you said, well, that has nothing to do with this person, or even actually the person that followed him. It was a state of the way things are and were and have been for quite a long time. But it is kind of interesting because, you know, as soon as you put the word of the name of the president number 45, it became a bad thing. And it was just the whole discussion was, well, no, you're biasing actually the whole discussion factor by putting a label on something. You're not looking at something for its merits because you're just looking at the labels, and the label has been declared negative. Not making any sense? Anyway, you tell me what you think about it. Have you noticed that? I mean, in your life, in your products, and everything. I mean, there's just so many things. It's like, I guess, you know, some people would say it's just live and let live. I don't think it's as simple as that, actually. People don't want to do that anymore, and people don't want to agree to disagree anymore. That's one of the main problems right now, I would say, in today's world. You can't even agree to disagree. You have to take a camp. You have to put a label on things. Okay, not a very nice topic, actually. I thought it was going to be much milder. Okay, DC signing off. Take care, everybody. Have a good Thursday. We're almost at the weekend. Bye-bye.